Hey folks, hope you all are doing well. I'm Karan Bandal from Econosite, your weekly economic wrap from India and around the world. So let's get started with India. India's ONDC expansion. A little background on Indian government's ONDC first. Unlike other economies where private networks have taken root, for example, Facebook in case of social media, Amazon in e-commerce, etc., India is leading in building public digital infrastructure, not private. This is based on the Government of India's unique digital identification system Aadhaar, which was launched back in 2006 and the first Aadhaar card was issued in 2010. Further layers continue being built on this foundation like digital payments or UPI and ONDC. ONDC is a new setup being created by the government to facilitate e-commerce transactions across a network of buyers, sellers and shippers. Quite similar to what a company like Amazon does, but this being a public platform, a private player will find it difficult to establish a monopoly and exploit small suppliers and shippers. ONDC is slowly making progress with the e-commerce network now operational in 236 cities across India, adding more than 36,000 merchants. The government states that existing platforms are tightly controlled and keep many small players out, so ONDC should increase competition and foster startup innovation. This network is also launching mobility operations in 2 cities. More than 55,000 taxi cab owners have already joined the network. Consumers were using it for about 35,000 rides a day. Surely, cab drivers and passengers prefer using this public network to paying hefty commission fees to operators like Ola, Uber, Lyft and so on. ONDC aims to raise e-commerce penetration in the next 2 years to 25% of India's consumer purchases from a current level of around 8%. In addition to that, a network of nearly 160,000 state-run Indian Postal Services post offices will join ONDC network to provide logistics services to small traders across the country. Moving on to Cisco. Cisco's India focus. Cisco is a US-based company that is about all things related to connectivity. Cisco offers an industry-leading portfolio of technology innovations in networking, security, collaboration, cloud management, etc. Its solutions are used by college campuses, big firms, and small businesses alike. A company with more than $50 billion in revenues, employing more than 83,000, is a leader in the communications and information technology space. Cisco recently announced that it will start manufacturing in India, a major step in the expansion of its footprint in the country. This move is part of Cisco's strategy to create an even more diverse and resilient global supply chain. The creation of a new manufacturing operation was announced by Cisco CEO during his meeting with the high-level officials from the Indian government. India is already Cisco's second largest research and development center outside the US, and now company aims to drive more than $1 billion in combined domestic production and exports in the coming years. Let's talk about trade. India-Britain Free Trade Agreement. India and Britain started negotiations on a free trade agreement in January 2022. The process has been frustrating and slow. The two countries have previously missed an October 2022 deadline to conclude the deal and continue talking through the proposed deal. But both countries do understand the importance of this trade pact, since this could double the trade to $100 billion by 2030. Some progress was observed recently with this trade pact, as Indian car makers have agreed to eliminate import tax on the limited number of vehicles if the need arises. India currently levies 70% and 100% tax on car imports. This will be reduced in a phased manner to 10% by year 5, but only for a maximum of 46,200 vehicles. Size of India's automobile market is quite substantial, with 4 million cars sold in the country during the last financial year ending on March 2023. But this market also has some of the highest tax barriers if you are looking to export cars to India. Britain has only a handful of car factories run by the likes of Nissan, BMW and Tata's Jaguar Land Rover. So we'll see if these proposed concessions by the Indian automakers move the needle on the trade pact. Finally, Netherlands-India trade. India's trade with the Netherlands has been rising steadily since 2000-2001, when India's exports to the nation were just $880 million. During the financial year 2022-2023, Netherlands emerged as India's third largest exports destination after the US and UAE. You can see a sharp growth in India's exports to this European nation over the last 20 odd years. India's trade surplus with Netherlands also went up to $13 billion. This surge in exports is driven by goods such as petroleum products, electronic items, chemicals, and aluminum goods. Netherlands has emerged as a hub for Europe with efficient port and connectivity with the EU through roads, railways, and waterways. The country is also a major investor in India. There are over 200 Dutch companies currently present in India, and in a similar manner, there are over 200 Indian companies operating in the Netherlands. In summary, as India's consumer market matures and grows, global players are more likely to take meaningful bets on India. Take Cisco for example. With a strong domestic market, trade will improve also. Even without free trade agreements, India's trade with Europe and Britain is rising steadily. Imagine the boost it will get once India starts landing a few free trade agreements. I hope you found this week's wrap interesting. I'll speak with you again next week. Until then, take care.